If you're like me, you didn't win $2 billion in the biggest Powerball jackpot in history back in November 2022, or the July 2023 Powerball ticket that was just over $1 billion. We've made our peace with it though, right? Chances are you daydreamed a bit about what you'd do with the money though, didn't you? Maybe about how your life would change, possibly the improvement to your shoe collection, or maybe that's just me. But all of us had daydreams. The reality is though that few of us will hit that big jackpot, and those that do historically face tons of financial burdens. Today, let's talk a little bit about how the lotto works, daydream about what we could theoretically purchase with a giant jackpot, why we probably shouldn't buy said things, and then how to make smart money moves when you do come into a large sum of cash. State lotteries have been around in the US for decades, and many tout proceeds from ticket sales that benefit local schools, environmental causes, and other community endeavors. You may have noticed that lotto prizes have been regularly inching higher than they used to. So what gives? Well, there are a few factors. For starters, since they are government regulated, it used to be that the two big multi-state lotteries, Mega Millions and Powerball, had agreements restricting each of them to separate parts of the country. That agreement got tossed in 2010, which meant expanding the potential buyer pool to roughly 300 million potential buyers. Nowadays, all but 5 US states operate lotteries, which feeds that big pool of potential buyers. But that's just part of it. In 2017, Mega Millions doubled the price of a ticket from $1 to $2, which obviously allows money to accumulate more quickly than in the past. Powerball had done the same thing back in 2012. On top of that, both Mega Millions and Powerball changed their odds of winning to roughly 1 in 300 million, making it harder to win and giving the jackpot a higher likelihood of rolling over. Couple those three factors with rising interest rates and you end up with historically higher jackpots. A lot of those advertised jackpots are based on how the money will be paid out, and that's where interest rates come in. Just to be clear, the jackpot that you see advertised is not the actual jackpot. When people win the lottery, they get to choose between taking a cash payout or having organizers invest the money in an annuity that will pay them once now and again annually for roughly the next 29 years. Lotto annuities are long-term financial contracts that provide a stream of payment over time and grow based on fixed interest rates of about 5%. On the day of the drawing, the actual amount of money at stake might be large, but it's much smaller than the advertised jackpot. The advertised jackpot is the sum of those 30 payments, which each year grow by that 5% interest rate. Lottery winners typically opt for the lump sum of cash, which is even smaller than the projected value of all 30 annuity payments. But that does not stop the lotteries from promoting the bigger, more exciting numbers. Just to put some of this into actual numbers, that $2.04 billion lotto winner we talked about earlier opted for the lump sum, $997.6 million. After federal taxes, his actual take-home amount would be $628.5 million, which is still a lot of money, but far from the billionaire status that the media hyped up. Some states also impose a state tax on lotto winnings. But I think most folks would be pretty happy with a $628 million paycheck. Of course, if it happened, you would work with a financial advisor about how to maximize the funds and ensure they last a while. But let's just daydream for a minute, okay? What could you buy with that cash? Let's round the number down to $600 million just to make the math a little bit easier. A lot of folks think home ownership first, and I love that for you. So you could buy yourself some houses, a lot of houses actually. The median price of houses sold in 2022 was $428,700. So you could buy roughly 1,400 homes. One for yourself, everyone in your family, all your friends, your mailman, your second grade teacher, your second grade teacher's second grade teacher, and a whole lot of other people that you do or don't know. But who wants to keep up with all of those different land deeds? You could just buy the 3 priciest properties currently for sale right now. The most expensive being the penthouse at Central Park Tower, which is currently listed at $250 million. But I'm a car gal, so indulge me while I go down a little car tangent, will you? In 2022, the average price of a luxury car was about $73,000. So you could get about 8,206 of those. And if you wanted to go classic, like I probably would, the average cost of a classic car, like say a 1960-something Chevy Corvette, they'd average about $30,000 each. So 600 million would get you about 20,000 of those. All right, I get it. Maybe cars aren't your thing. Maybe your team, when I win, I'm gonna disappear to an exotic island forever. That's totally doable. The median price to buy a private island in the Caribbean is about $4.2 million. So you could buy yourself about 143 islands if you could find the inventory. It might be more sensible to get yourself just 100 so you still had funds left over to build homes for yourself on those various islands, unless camping out is your jam. Maybe instead of buying things for yourself, you're feeling philanthropic and you want to house or clothe the unhoused. Let's say you wanted to buy apartment buildings. The average cost of one of those in the US is about $12.5 million for a 50-unit building. So you could buy about 48 buildings, which would house roughly 2,400 people if all units were single occupancy. And if you wanted to offer clothing instead, let's consider a capsule wardrobe, since this collection of clothes would include everything someone would typically need to wear. You can get a capsule wardrobe for about $500, which means you could clothe approximately 1.2 million people. Let's wrap this up with a fun one. 2022, pickleball was all the rage. If you had 600 million laying around and you wanted to get in on that hype, a single court would cost you about $25,000. So you could build yourself roughly 24,000 courts. Fun, right? Okay, daydream over. Obviously, I'm a finance nerd. There's no way I could encourage or support any of these wild purchases. In general, they're all a great way to go bankrupt. Spending every dime on any one specific thing is not advisable unless you don't want to have any money left over. More specifically, home ownership comes with a lot of other factors aside from just the home itself. You need to consider insurance, maintenance costs, property management, since you can't logically live in them all yourself. Cars would give you different but still costly expenses if you own that many. Same with islands and even pickleball courts. And if you did want to be philanthropic, there are more sustainable ways of helping than a one-time clothing or home purchase. So, what moves should you make if you win? For starters, safeguard your ticket. Whoever has the winning ticket gets to claim the prize. But don't take too long. Rules vary by state, but there is a finite amount of time you have to claim your winnings. If you live in a state that allows you to remain anonymous, consider taking that option to avoid being contacted by scammers and other opportunists. Also, take a moment to think before you start spending. This means not quitting your day job yet or making any significant purchases. Next, consider making the investment to add legal and financial professionals to your team. A certified financial planner can help you make smart money moves to make the most effective plan for your winnings. They will outline any federal or state tax considerations you need to keep in mind, and they'll help you decide if it's best to take the lump sum or annuity payments. They'll also help you manage a plan for paying off any outstanding debts that you owe. And of course, don't worry, a finance advisor will give you advice on how to create a fun, enjoyable lifestyle for yourself while still investing in your future. It's also a good idea to have an attorney on your team because, as the old saying goes, mo money, mo problems. Handy to have an attorney close by in case someone tries to file a suit or make claims against you, as has happened with many lottery winners in the past. They can also help you set your estate and plan for your will to ensure that the money goes where you'd like it to go when you pass. Those are considerations you'd also want to keep in mind if you unexpectedly inherited a large sum of money too. You know how they say if you can't manage $100, you won't be able to manage $1 million? This is real. I know it doesn't apply to you because you use NerdWallet and make smart money moves, but I'm just saying, generally speaking, there is this myth that says 70% of people who win a lottery lose or spend the money in 5 years or less. No one can say for sure if that is true or accurate or not, but it's worth going in prepared either way. The odds of winning are stacked against us, y'all, but keep playing responsibly for fun if you'd like, and keep daydreaming about those pickleball courts. And visit nerdwallet.com if you do win to track down some resources on where to store all that cash. Want to do something different with the $2 that you'd spend on a lottery ticket? Consider investing in a micro-investing app like Acorns or Stash. You can learn more about all your options at nerdwallet.com.